Missing the group.
We
Yeah,
missed
it's
you
quiet
too.
when you're not here.
Oh, darn it.
What did you say, Jane?
I said, we missed you too.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, welcome in everybody. It is Wednesday. Let's see here. All right, so this week we're talking about some mindset stuff, perspective shifts, mind hacks. And so if you've ever self-sabotaged or gotten in your own way, this is a good week to be paying attention. So I'm glad that you guys are all here, or if you're listening to this as a replay, I'm glad you're listening. I'm hoping that it will be helpful for you. Let's see, so we got some funnies and shout outs and some welcomes. Then we'll go into, is what you see actually the truth? Then I have a cute little story for you, the three Helens, and then I'm going to make that all make sense. A couple of three Helen stories. We're going to talk about how to train your brain with the RAS. And is what you believe the truth? There's so many different perspectives, but my goal is by the end of today's presentation, you will be able to see that it's not always the way we think it is. It's just not, whatever situation we're in is not permanent. We can shift no matter what. We just got to shift our thinking. We got some brain hacks and of course Q&A at the end. So, okay, so here's some perspective, little cartoony things. I thought those were kind of cute, but I will go over some shout outs. Jane, I think you're on the call right now, and yes, you are. Jane is down 4 inches in just her waistline alone. And her seatbelt is even getting more comfortable. So when she gets in and out of her car. So that's a huge thing. And I know we talk a lot about weight and those kinds of things, but just little things that improve the quality of life and just can keep going and keep going and keep getting to that next level and next level. You start to see little things. And even if it's just being more comfortable in your car, that is really awesome. So I am super excited for you, Jane. You've taken so many hurdles and just gotten right on past them. And you've had some temptations like no other, and you've gotten right on. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Christy is down 30 to 31 pounds, and so she's really excited. We just wrapped things up with Beth, and this is a reminder to all of you guys. Don't forget at the very end of your 12 weeks to book your transition call. So this way we can kind of set up your plan for what's next, because it doesn't end at 12 weeks. We just got through the first 12 weeks. I want to give you guys some stuff to do, or some ideas of things that you can incorporate or do moving forward so that you can maintain the results that you've gotten. So Beth wrapped up and she's very excited. Her husband finally is going to get on board. So we set up a plan for her and her husband to get on board. Erin just wrapped up today as well. And we set her up with an exercise plan. That's where she was having a little bit of a struggle, and we set her up with a good plan. So again, these transition calls are to set up what's next and some things that you can do on your own to continue to see the good results. Also want to say welcome to our new people. We've got Deb, Evelyn, Christiana, Sherry, Betty, Judith, Katja, Debbie, Heather, Michelle, Chris, Angela, and Regina. So welcome to all our new people. And then here's some cartoons with some perspectives. And just to kind of give you an idea, it's not always what we see. It's just how we look at things. How you look at things change if you change the way you look at things. Or the things we see change when we change the way we look at things. I think I have that written in here somewhere. That's a famous quote from Dr. Dwayne Dyer. All right, so is what you see the truth? So let's look at, we got this guy over here sitting at the ledge, this guy hanging for dear life, This guy down here trying to run and save them, I hope. This guy over here is doing push-ups on his fingers, and this guy can't even believe it. Now, I want you guys to all turn your head to the right and see that it's a completely different, completely different perspective, and you cannot unsee it once you see it. The guy sitting on the edge for, who could easily fall off, actually, he's just sitting on the curb. He's laying in the street. This guy's just laying down, making it look like he's hanging. This guy over here doing finger push-ups is really just pressing the wall. So things that we see aren't always the truth. It's just that we have a perspective of our very own, and whether we're choosing or it's just the way we've been taught, that's how we see things. Hopefully today I want you to be able to see things in a different light. That's my hope for you guys here. All right, so what do you guys see here? What's the first thing you see?
Two faces facing each other was the first
Awesome.
thing I saw.
Awesome. Anybody else?
A vase.
A vase. Very good. Awesome. So, and actually I now see both because I know, but like I first saw this and I saw a vase or a candle holder, a vase or something like that. And then you realize it looks like two faces looking at each other, two silhouettes. Or two silhouettes. But now that you see both perspectives, you can't unsee either of them. So there's so many things that we think it is. We think it's the truth. We think it's real. You watch the politics on TV and it's real. And then you hear a different perspective. You're like, oh, totally different. So today we're going to get a few different perspectives. All right, so there's a story of the three Helens. And Cynthia, I think you might have heard this story before. If you've been with me for a while, you've heard this story before. But I wanted to put this perspective story that I'm not plagiarizing. I got this story from Kyle Cease, and he wrote the book, The Illusion of Money. So he's talking about money in the book, but this little story, I'll make it make sense in a second. But the different perspectives. So he talks about the three Helens, and Kyle Cease is hilarious. If you guys never heard him talk, hopefully you can find him on YouTube. He was a comedian turned motivational speaker. So his stories, his book online, or his Audible book, The Illusion of Money, I was listening to his book, and that's where I got the story. So it's actually pretty funny, and he's hilarious when he describes it. So I'm probably going to butcher it, but you'll get the idea. So there's three Helens, and all three Helens, they all have the same name. They all come from kind of the same place. They all kind of come from the same starting point. And somehow they each won $10 million. So Helen number one, first thing she does is she's like, oh, hallelujah, I am going to quit my job. She quits her job. She goes and buys this fancy apartment in the downtown area of the fancy area where she lives. She's taking her friends out to fancy dinners and throwing big giant parties. She got a new sports car. She even got a $200,000 Kid Rock statue for her new house. And she's just living high on the hog. She's having a blast. She's having a good old time. Helen number two, on the other hand, she is going to play it safe. She's like, 10 million bucks. I don't want to lose this. So she goes to, what does he say? The local hotel by Marriott, and they have a little seminar there on how to save money. She invests very conservatively in some bonds through her bank and her financial advisor. She puts up an automatic savings account, and she does not quit her job. She's playing it very safe. She makes those safe, conservative investments, and she maintains her job, and she invests in her house. She makes some home improvements in her house but she doesn't move. She doesn't buy a new house. She just improves her house. And then Helen, number 3, she also decides to quit her job. But the reason she wants to quit her job is she's decided to go on this self-improvement journey in life. So she goes off and she goes backpacking through all of Europe to kind of discover herself. She's getting to know herself. Once she does her backpacking trip all through Europe, discovering new cultures and things that she loves and foods that she loves and religions that she loves and different spirituality practices all over these countries. She comes back home and she takes a course on businesses. And so she starts her own business and she takes some classes. She takes some health classes and meditation classes and a lot of different things to help improve herself. So now she has done some things to expand herself. So we've got Helen, number 1, who's instant gratification, absolutely instant gratification. Did I hit record? Yes, I did. I did hit record. Okay. So Helen, number 1, instant gratification. Helen, number 2, really didn't do anything to expand herself, but she's being very conservative and being very safe and keeping herself a little bit on the small side. Because at this point, she could have invested in bigger, scarier things, perhaps. And then Helen, number 3, she was in the expansive mode. Now, as you can guess, Helen, number 1, by the end of the first year, she's gone through almost half of her money. Helen, number 2, she has more money by the end of the year. Helen, number 3, does not have more money by the end of the year, but she has something possibly better. She's expanded herself. She's healthier and she's happier. She's doing what she loves. She's not stuck in a job that she hates. So because she quit her job, but she did things to start a business in an area that she absolutely loves. So how does that translate into health and wellness and weight loss? So let's start all over again. And this is the part I made up to try to make this all make sense. So Helen, number 1, what is she? She's instant gratification. So, okay, so now there's 3 Helens, instead of 10 million bucks, they've all been granted the perfect healthy body. Whatever in their mind they've decided is the most perfect healthy body, whether it's curvy or muscular or whatever, they get to have that perfect healthy body, however they want it, whatever shape, whatever size, whatever they want. Now, we know Helen, number 1, is instant gratification. So if today you were granted that perfect healthy body, would we go out and celebrate and go, okay, I can have the cheeseburger, I can have the French fries, I can check out the dessert tray, because I don't have to worry about my diet. I've got the perfect healthy body, right? It's a different perspective. She's going to sleep in. She doesn't have to go to the gym. She's going to stay up late night watching Netflix because we don't have to worry about getting up and hitting the gym first thing in the morning before work. Different perspective, instant gratification, sleep in, no workout, eat the burger and fries, have a dessert, no worries, right? We've already got the perfect body. Helen, number 2, she's like, yes, I've got the perfect body. I can wear the things I want to wear. However, I'm going to play this safe. I am going to get a personal trainer so that I maintain my healthy body. I'm going to work out. I'm going to get a meal service to send me the meals every day so that I have all those prepped meals in my refrigerator. So I'm going to eat right so I can maintain a healthy body. Helen, number 3, now she's, perfect healthy body. She can have whatever she wants. So she's going to go out there. She's going to join the groups and she's going to join a pickleball group or take some pickleball lessons. She's going to go out there and learn. She's going to take a certification in nutrition so she knows exactly what to eat and what's going to help her keep that healthy body. She's going to learn how to do meditation, doing some gratitudes and other things that help her mind, body, and spirit. So she's in an expansive mode, expanding her knowledge, expanding her health, expanding her wellness, her spiritual wellness, her physical wellness, and her mental wellness. She maybe takes some courses on how to stay and be healthy, how to do some exercises, all of those things. Maybe she's going to set a new goal to climb Mount Everest. So she'll set another goal, which will force her to train for this big, long, crazy, wonderful, challenging hike. So she's expanding herself. And the reason why I wanted to share the story with you is because so many times people kind of fall back into being the Helen number one. Well, I lost 3 pounds this week. I deserve that ice cream at the end of the day. I deserve to have a treat, and it's a food treat. So I want us to start to think of our foods and our current health and wellness, or the health and wellness that you've achieved so far, in a different way. Is what you're doing going to expand you versus just keep you the same, or versus put you at risk for going backwards? So we've got instant gratification, we got play it safe, and we've got expansion. So every time you're making a choice, you might ask yourself, coming from a different perspective, is this going to expand me? And the fact that you guys are listening to this right now, you're expanding your knowledge. I'm going to give you knowledge every single week, hopefully. I know a lot of this stuff you guys already know, but hopefully each week you come away with a nugget, so you're expanding. So congratulations to all of those who are here. So hopefully you like my little 3 Helens story. However, sometimes we do get stuck. I know I've shown you this little loop thing that we do a lot, and it's in different areas and it's at different times. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's health and wellness, sometimes it's relationships, sometimes it's career. But we have a life event which creates beliefs and the stories that we tell ourselves, that internal dialogue, which leads to your thoughts and to your feelings. And when we think and feel a certain way, it leads to our decisions and our intentions. Which also leads to certain actions. And we all know every action, good or bad, is going to have a consequence or an outcome, which again will lead to a life event, which can have us in a loop. And this can be in a good loop. If you've ever been in sales, if you've ever been in the sales industry in your work, you get in the zone. It's like everybody's saying yes, everybody's saying yes. This is just, you're in the good vibe, you're in the good zone. And then if you've ever been in sales, you have all the opposite week. Oh my God, I can't get a yes, I can't get it. Everybody's a no, and the doors are closing and the doors are closing. So we go through these different cycles in life. So I wanted to kind of give you the visual so that we can kind of pop out of this life event, belief, stories, thoughts, feelings, decisions, actions, outcomes loop if we're in the negative one. All right, so I've talked about this several times. I think I talked about it a little bit yesterday. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeing new landscapes, but in having new eyes. So when we look at things in a different way, we start to see things in a different way. All right, so we've got what's called the reticular activating system. And what's cool about it is it's real easy to train your brain to do this. What the reticular activating system is, it's a filter. So your brain, we get millions of pieces of information every day. When you're driving down the street, you're going to see or not see billboards, signs, the electrical flashing signs. You're going to see restaurants, you're going to see shoe stores, you're going to see gas stations, you're going to see for sale signs, you're going to see you're going to see other cars. You're just going to see all the things that your reticular activating system wants you to see, because somehow, somewhere you've determined that it's important. So, for example, when I was looking to buy my house, I was just obsessed with going to open houses. So with that, every time I saw it, I would see open house signs. Now, if you're not looking for a house and you haven't shopped for a house in 20 years, you probably don't even notice them in your neighborhood. But if you are shopping for a house, you will absolutely notice those signs. And I got so obsessed with it, I still notice them. And I bought this house 3 years ago. But it's something that you're going to start to see. Another example would be when you bought your car, you know, like I have a Toyota Camry, and I now notice more Toyota Camrys on the road than any other car on the road. Does that mean that there's more Toyota Camrys on the road? No, that's just my belief, because that's what my reticular activating system is showing me. Because there's one in front of me, there's one parked next to me, there's a commercial for one on the TV, there's a commercial for one in the magazine. I just see Toyota Camrys. Everywhere's a Toyota Camry. And so it's because I bought one and I thought about it, and it was a big investment. And so there was a lot of thought process went into that Toyota Camry. Well, I looked it up just for the sake of this particular talk. And I said, what's the most common vehicle on the road? Well, it's a Ford F-150 truck is what came up on Google. Well, I don't really notice those ever. But it's the most vehicle on the street. So that's proof that what I believe are the most cars on the street, because I see the Camry, it's not always true. So there's other truths out there that we can start to see. So as you guys study health and wellness and glycemic index and label reading and the buzzwords and all of these words that I start to teach you, you will start to notice them on your in your life, on your journey of life. There's someone in chat says, we drive a Honda minivan and I see them everywhere. Yeah, exactly. And if you have a specific color, I used to date a guy who was all into Corvettes, and all he talked about was Corvettes. And guess what I see everywhere now? And I'm not even dating him anymore, but it's on my radar, because I still think about him sometimes. But I never noticed Corvettes before. It just wasn't on my radar. So yeah, that's exactly right. So so the reticular activating system determines what we notice. So again, if you're filling your mind with positive, healthy, and wellness things, you're going to start to see them. You will notice the yoga studio opening up near your house. You will notice the workout shoes on sale. You would have never noticed that ad before, maybe. And that's the good news, is it can be easily programmed. So is what you see the truth? Because I don't know if Shauna's minivan is the most popular one on the road, but it is in her mind, right? In Utah, maybe. Oh, well, that's true. I just said in US, what's the most common vehicle in the US on Google? So, but again, so this goes the same way the other way. If I'm sitting on Pinterest and I'm looking up cheesy pastas, sweet, need to eat desserts, what am I focusing on? My brain's going to show me more desserts, more pastas, more cheesy things.
But this is what's going to happen.
Pardon me? Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm muting.
oh yeah. Yeah. If you have background, just go ahead and mute. Yes, just kidding. All right. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. So the more we pay attention to the good stuff, we're going to start to see it. It will start to show. And I really consider that an opportunity. So when the universe shows me the tennis shoes on sale, or shows me the new yoga studio, or shows me the new cycle studio in my shopping center, I might want to go check it out, take an action. It's an opportunity for me to have a really nearby workout option, or some new shoes on sale, or whatever the case may be. Oh, all right. So you guys, several weeks ago, I did this lesson, and I still had it on my whiteboard, but I wanted to blend two different lessons and then make it all make sense as a different perspective. So when we have there's 4 stages. The first one is asleep. You're unconsciously incapable. Step 2 is you're aware, you're consciously incapable. Step 3, you're awake, you're consciously capable. And step 4, you're alive and unconsciously capable. So let's give an example of that. So when you're a new baby, for example, you get put in the car, you're 2 days old, you get put in the car, your parents are taking you home from the hospital. You're unconsciously aware of the fact you're even in a car. You don't know anything about driving. You don't care about driving. You're just trying to figure out where the heck you are. You're very unconsciously incapable of driving a car. Now your same little self turns 5 or 6 or 7. And now you're in your car seat in the back seat and your mom's taking you to Chuck E. Cheese or Disneyland or somewhere fun. And you realize, wait, we're in a car. I don't know how to drive. I would love to know how to drive because it's fun. We go to fun places like Chuck E. Cheese or Disneyland or whatever, but you're aware that you do not know how to drive. Then your little 16-year-old self starts to, get ready to learn how to drive. And so you take driver's ed and you get dad out there to help you learn how to drive in a parking lot somewhere. And now you're awake and you're consciously capable. But guess what? It is hard. It is really hard because you're like, how do I turn on the windshield wipers? It's raining. Wait, how do I turn them off? They're going too fast. Where's the brake? How do I roll down the window? Where's the hazard lights? You really have to think about all the things and to remind yourself to look in the rearview mirror and check your side mirrors. You really have to think about all the things. This is stage 3 is the hardest part of this whole process. It's the hardest part, but you're capable, you're doing it, but it's hard. But if you don't give up, guess what? Now your 50-year-old self or whatever age you're at, phase 4, you can drive that car. You're unconscious. You're literally unconscious. You can drive all the way to work. You can drive all the way to the grocery store and not remember an inch of it because you were having a conversation with somebody, or you were doing math in your head, or you were thinking about a conversation you had with your boss or your spouse or somebody, whatever. You did it completely unconsciously. You don't have to think about the brakes. You don't have to think about how to turn the radio down. None of it. None of it. So the same thing with health and wellness. First off, we're just going through life. Okay, whatever. We're asleep. We don't realize what's going on. And then all of a sudden, we look at a picture of ourselves and go, wow, who's that lady? And I don't look like I used to look. I don't look as healthy. My weight looks different. My skin looks different. My face looks different. What do I do? Where do I go? Where do I even start? Then you sign up for a program like this, and you're consciously capable. You're doing the deal, but it's like, how do I meal prep? Am I allowed to have pickles? How do I make a sandwich if I can't have bread? When do I meal prep? How do I figure out how to spend the time to do this? When do I eat fruit? When do nuts come back? There's all this questions. This is not so easy, but you're doing it. And this is where we start to lose people. But if you hang in there, stage 4, if you just stage 4, then it's automatically. When you go to that restaurant, it's automatically when the waiter says, do you want baked potato or fries? It's automatically, you don't even think about it. You'll just say extra vegetables. Or can I swap it for a side salad? It is so automatic. It is so automatic on Sundays or whatever days you choose that's your meal prep day, because that's how you're living your life. It is automatic. So let's go to the other thing. Now you've seen this graph as well. I'm sure of it. So this is the cycle of success. At first, it's uninformed optimism. You sign up for a program. You're so excited. You don't know what it involves. You don't even care. I am going to do the deal. And then all of a sudden you start and you're like, ooh, meal prep? I have to track my calories. What the heck is this? This is kind of hard. So now it's an informed pessimism. You're not so excited. If I don't know about counting these calories, how do I figure that part out? Or how do I make my food? Or how do I do this? Or how do I do that part? Exercise, I've never really exercised. And we get to stage 3, which can lead to the valley of despair, which is where we typically lose people. The problem with this stage here is stage 3 is a lot of times people don't get out of stage 3. This is where they fall out. If you stay the course and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, we have stage 4, which is informed optimism. So if you come to me and you're struggling and you're mad about it and you're just, this is hard, and I remind you, excuse me, this is how far you've come. You weighed this much when you came in. You were having this many bowel movements when you came in. Your gut was like this when you came in. Your numbers were like this when you came in. You've come a really far way. And you're like, oh, yeah, I kind of have. So now you have that informed optimism. And then, of course, stage 5 is realized success. So what I wanted to point out was stage 3 here is exactly as the stage 3 there. So my whole point is when things get hard, and they will get hard, especially if you've gone in feet first and you're doing things very, very different from how you've done them before. Even if you fall out completely, if you had all the things, you had the gluten and the dairy and the sugar and a coffee, all the things, you come right back in and you get right back on that horse, as they say. You will get to stage 4 and stage 5 if you don't give up entirely. So I just wanted to blend those two little lessons together. All right, so is what you believe the truth? We know that, what we see sometimes is not the truth based on our cars that we see on the road, or whatever or the signs that I see. If I see a sign that says cowboy boots, if it says boots, I'm going to notice it. You guys that don't wear cowboy boots will probably never notice that sign, but it's like, a boot store? Uh-oh. Start saving some money, girl. So anyways, is what you believe the truth? Because we all have a belief system somewhere inside, and a lot of times it is a limiting belief. And my limiting belief, at least in my case, I was just kind of chubby, especially after my kids, just barrel-shaped. But I believe that because I'm Italian, I'm half Italian, but the women on my dad's Italian side, all of them were barrel-shaped. So I just believe that that's just how it is, and that's how I'm going to be. So why bother? Why bother trying to get super fit? Why would I even bother? But that is a very limiting belief, because as it turned out, I was able to get a flat stomach even after a C-section, and I'm still Italian. That part hasn't changed. So sometimes we got to get past our limiting beliefs. So you might want to ask what some of those are. Yesterday we did a little game, writing down all the things that stop you. And those are just beliefs, but are they serving you? And are they stopping you? Is it something you can control, or is it out of your control? Because if it's something you can control, or parts of it you can control, you can change that belief. You can switch it out. Also, changing those limiting beliefs by practicing your success formula in module 2, training number 1. Reevaluating what you're capable of. Sometimes we look at it like a program like this. It's calories, it's macronutrients, it's glycemic index. If it's all new information for you, it's like, oh, this is just too hard. This is just too much. And exercise, and count calories, and how much protein am I supposed to eat? All the scary things. But if you just start to break it into smaller chunks, you'll find out that you are far more capable than you realize that you are. And that's another one. This is a big one, is who you think you are. And this can serve you or it can hurt you. So how you think you are. So the identity. But going back to the Helens, each Helen had a different come from space. Helen number 1 was, instant gratification, because in her mind, she's not capable of, having those things. So she's taking advantage of it as fast as she can. So who you think you are really does matter. How you finish the sentence, I am, really is very powerful sentence. So we got to start switching our I ams. And I don't want you to sit down and go, I am healthy, when your conscious mind says, no, you're not. You signed up for the program because you had this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. But if you say, I am making healthier choices, I am finding easier ways to do this, I am getting healthier every day, I am journaling my food, I am learning how to do this, we start to shift our identity. And your identity is basically a thermostat. So it's where we decide to set it. So if you want to level up, raising our own standards for our own self, and just doing one little step at a time, one little tiny thing at a time, and creating a new identity. I've talked about this before as well. I know sometimes it's like, well, I am healthy. Well, and your conscious mind says, no, you are not yet. So, but it's hard to even believe that you could become an I am healthy person. So one of the ways that I recommend that you start to change your belief about who you are is giving yourself a point every time you make a good choice towards your health and wellness. I think I just talked about this a couple of days ago. So every time you do something right, point. Do something right, point. I meal prepped, point. I meal planned, point. I went to the gym, point. I got some new workout shoes, point. Get yourself a point for buying new shoes. But it will prove to yourself that you are becoming the healthier person. So it's a way to create this new identity. What you believe about your food choices helps. So we talk about certain foods are your medicine, and certain foods can literally be poison for us. We talked about label reading last week and the chemicals in the food. So when we start to shift our perspective, is ice cream good or is ice cream bad? Is pizza good or is pizza bad? If we start to learn what gluten is doing in the body, or we start to learn what the sugars are doing in the body, we start to learn what all these things are doing in our body, and it could be kale and spinach and green leafies. And the more you learn about how good they are for your body, it makes it a lot easier and enjoyable to eat them. That's why I do a whole week topic on anti-aging, because it makes eating the healthy choices far more exciting. At least that's how I feel about it. So shifting your perspective on how you think about foods, the best way to do that is learning how your healthy foods are making your skin look better, your brain function better, your eyes function better, your heart, all of it, your gut function better. So the more you learn about those foods that are making all the things better, it makes it more exciting and fun to eat those foods. How you think about this program, it's a perspective. It's absolutely a perspective. I've had people say, and it's the exact same program. Some people say, oh, this is hard. It's very, very restrictive. Well, a little bit at first, but if your perspective is, well, I'm just healing my gut. This is for my gut health. This is not forever. I can have a slice of pizza, but not right now. It's just how you think about this program. But if all you can think about is, it's so restrictive, I can't have coffee, or I can't have pizza, or I can't have chocolate. Well, actually, we can have chocolate. We learned that this week too. But shifting your perspective about doing any program like this, it's for my health, it's for my gut, it's for my liver, it's for my blood pressure, all of those things. Also taking your power back and not being a victim. If we're blaming or complaining about somebody or something else, that means we are being a victim and we're giving something power over our health and wellness. So if I'm blaming the weather, I can't go out for my walk, or I can't go out for my run, then I'm being a victim. Or I went to the party and they had and Jane knows this story if she's here. They had enchiladas and it was covered in cheese sauce and corn tortillas, but she was not the victim. She just chose to stick with her salad, and they had a little bit of extra chicken for her. So there's ways to take your empowerment. Once we take our power back and be responsible for our own actions, then we start to get those different results, and then we get out of that loop that I had earlier. Oh, all right. So some perspective shifts. Let me move this over. I didn't do my little numbers right, so I'm going to have to do the at first glance. So some of the times like, oh, this is just really too hard. I'll give you the shift in just a minute. Another one I get a lot is I don't have time, or my family won't eat that way, or my family eats in a different way. Life is just crazy right now. I can't work out. It's raining. All right. I've heard it. So it's a thing for some people. So, and it's, you know, how much power do we want to give the weather? The weather does not have power over my health and wellness. We might just go singing in the rain. So if it's too hard, if your thing is like, oh, this is really, really hard, and you might feel that way in all honesty. So just break it down into smaller pieces. Well, what can I do in this moment? Or what's the next right step? If you have 50 or 100 pounds to lose. Oh, she's talking to someone else. I thought she was talking to me. Anyway, so baby steps, breaking it down into what you can do. Hang on one second. I thought for sure she was talking to me, but she is on the phone. Anyway, all right, so breaking it into smaller pieces makes it far more doable than worrying about 50 or 100 or a big number or a big hard thing. I have to meal prep for a whole week. Meal prep one meal, just make a lot of it so it turns into several meals. And that way you're doing dishes one time. So smaller steps. The 5-second rule is, no, it's not the 5-second rule. It's a 2-minute rule. What can you do in 2 minutes? So if going to do a whole workout seems big and scary and hard, just put your tennis shoes on. That's it. You can do that in 2 minutes. If you could find something to do in 2 minutes. Okay, now you got your tennis shoes on. Maybe you could put gym clothes on. That might be something that you could do in 2 minutes. And, you know, just adding and adding and adding little tiny baby steps. The I don't have time. We all have the same 24 hours. I know you hear that, it's a tired excuse, but we also do things that do waste time. And I'm the queen of scrolling and the TikToks. I'm always looking for new ideas and new health and wellness things to kind of share and just new content for myself. And then I go down a rabbit hole of something else. And before I know it, 20 minutes has gone by. So if I limit that time or limit social media time or limit those kinds of things, I can make time for other things. They say put the big rocks in first. So if you schedule your stuff, if I say I'm going to work out Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 a.m. or whatever, as long as that's on my calendar, the workout's going to happen. And then if I have time to do social media scrolling, then fine, do it there. But if it takes up all my time to do the workout, at least the big rock, the most important things, big rock, AKA important things, gets done. My family eats in a different way. Well, there's must be something on this plan that they like. Do they like chicken? Do they like fish? Do they like green beans? Do they like salad? Do they like brown rice? I mean, there's a lot of choices of vegetables and meats and proteins that we can make. We can make protein shakes. Those are sweet, protein pancakes. So there's got to be something, if we're asking the right questions. Well, what do they like? And then maybe you have to make them a different kind of rice or a potato. We cannot have that potato for ourselves, but still they can have the same chicken and the same vegetable and the same salad. Like life is crazy right now. Well, we still have to eat. So if you set your intentions to make your best, healthiest choices, even if you are at a fast food place, they are probably using seed oils. There's probably very processed kinds of meats. So be very mindful of that. But you can still choose a protein and veggies, even if your life is crazy right now, because you do have to eat. Even if it's, you know, to go food from restaurants, get a salmon and a salad. You still have to eat something. Set your intention to make it healthier choice. I can't work out, it's raining. And I just thought that was a funny excuse. Or my gym was closed for renovation. Well, what can we do? Well, there's apps, there's YouTube. You can do home exercises. There's module 5 that you can practice. So there's little things that you can do right in your own living room while it's too hot outside or while it's raining outside. So hopefully that's helpful. Some things we can also do to shift our perspective: gratitude journals, being grateful for the things that you did do right that day. And just when you write in your gratitude journal, it's a muscle in your mind that you're making stronger, that you're forcing your brain to look for more things to be grateful for. So if you make yourself have to write 5 things that you're grateful for the day, and at first you're like stumped, like just an ordinary day, you're forcing yourself to have to try to look for things that you're grateful for, but it gets you in the habit. And now once you start it as a practice during the day, you go, oh, I can write that in my book. Oh, I can write that in my journal. Ooh, and so you start to notice even during the day, and there's your reticular activating system working at its finest job, is finding things that you're grateful for, even if it's green lights all the way to work or all the way to the gym or all the way wherever you went. Where you put your focus, what you study, what you're learning, where do you spend your time? This is all going to form and create your reticular activating system to work in your favor. So this will help you change your perspective as well. Studying the winners, that's a good one. So you guys, a lot of my content comes from different books that don't always have necessarily to do with health and wellness, but the principles and the steps and the processes, we can still translate that into different things that we can be as health and wellness strivers, people striving for health and wellness. So studying the winners, look at people who have lost a bunch of weight, read their story. What do they eat for breakfast? What do they do for workout? And every one of them is going to be different. So there's no right or wrong. This one works out in the morning. This one works out at night. This one does yoga. This one lifts weights. All these winners are going to be doing something different. You pick the things that resonate with something you would like to do in your process of becoming healthy and incorporate those things. Maybe it's recipes that sound good. Maybe it's the workouts that sound good. But studying the winners, so you're really, again, training that reticular activating system. It's really what you're looking for. What are you looking for matters. We played a little game yesterday. Look, what you're looking for. So if you look around, if I say look around in the room that you're in, look around for orange things. Look around for orange things. And then if you close your eyes, okay, how many brown things do you see? Like, wait a minute, I was looking for orange. I don't remember any brown things. The point is, if you're looking for ways to become healthier, you're going to find those. If you're looking for cheesy, sweet, need to eat treats, you're going to find them. So careful what you're looking for. What you see depends mainly on what you look for. Asking better questions. Why is this so hard? Or the better question is, how can I make it easier? Why can't I have coffee? Well, look for ways to have a coffee substitute that's going to serve your gut, that's not going to affect your adrenals. Asking different questions. How can I make this easier? How can I have tacos without having corn or tortilla? How can I have chocolate? We discovered that this week. The power of intention, setting an intention. You have your goals set, but now set your intentions. You have your big goals, set your intentions on just doing the next right thing, and then stack it and then stack it. And then changing your language. This is kind of an important one. And I see this again, studying the winners. If you study what the winners say or what the super fit people say, when I was in the world of like bodybuilding and bikini competition and all that stuff, it's like, I don't eat that versus I can't eat that. So if I go to the restaurant and the waiter says, you know, baked potato or fries, oh, I can't eat that. That's kind of sad and that's deprivation and it's not a higher vibration mode. But if you say, I don't eat that because I'm getting healthy right now, or I'm healing my gut, it feels a little bit different and it feels more empowering because you know you can have it anytime you want, but not today, Satan, right? All right. Oh, there it is. Change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. Dr. Wayne Dyer. Your perspective will either become your prison or your passport. And this is my favorite right here. I love this saying here. We can imagine great things without ever doing them, but we cannot do great things without ever imagining them. This is why the success formula is so important. If you don't create it, if you don't imagine it, and if you don't feel what it feels like to have achieved it, you have it, it's only a wish. But when you start to practice your success formula and you see it, you feel it, you envision having the energy and you envision wearing the clothes and you envision getting off your medications and you feel the confidence, you feel the excitement, you feel so proud of yourself for just staying the course and not giving up on your own self. This will create a belief system. Your mind, your subconscious mind does not know real from imagined. So if you're imagining it enough and you imagine it often, it will become your new reality. So it will make your one step forward easier and easier and easier. And we get back to that place of unconsciously capable. That's how we end up in that unconsciously capable phase. And we're done. So does anybody have any questions or additions or thoughts or concerns?
I do. So Tammy, when, I've done a lot of programs, as I've said before, did even gastric bypass surgery over 20 years ago, and spent a lot of my time finally being in a body that I liked, only to self-sabotage myself and get back to this point. And, I had a very frustrating day. And it was actually the day you and I had that one-on-one and you asked me how I was. And I said, I'm okay. And you said, that doesn't sound very good. And it was so strange because that was the day I was thinking of quitting the program. I was like thinking I was going to be done with it. And then I thought about all of these things that you had alluded to before. I hadn't been able to plug into the calls and regularly until recently, but I viewed it as this is my bird cage that I'm going to be able to walk out of and fly free of as long as I keep going. As long as I, keep trying, I will get myself healthy again.
I
And
love that. And there it is. I will get myself, I am getting myself healthy
yeah.
again.
And
And
I
what,
literally, when I thought about the other day, I went out and there was a brand new coffee shop and there were 6 of us there and they didn't have any herbal tea or anything. So I got hot water. It was brand new. It was his opening day. And, all of these, everybody's ordering these mocha frappuccino, really, and I asked for hot water because I sat there and I thought, do you want to get out of your bird cage? Do you want to continue so that you can fly? Or do you want to stay this way?
oh, I just got goosebumps. Oh my gosh. That
So,
is so beautiful. And
so
you
that's
just,
my vision now. Whenever,
yes.
if I'm having a hard time, and it was so funny because I had some really sad news last night. Somebody woke me up at 1:30 in the morning. And normally what I would do was go and, eat something. And I decided, okay, I've got to get back to sleep, but I need to calm myself down. So I did stretching, which was the bed workout that I had seen, laying in your bed workout for a sore back. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but I did that for about 15 minutes. And it's kind of, I mean, it really does. You do like 100 movements of your legs that in certain 4 positions. And I calmed myself down and I went back to sleep. But again, I had to sit there and think, do I want to fly free of this cage? Or is this cage going to be my existence forever? So,
Wow. There, now talk about asking different questions. Is this going to help me get out of my cage?
yeah.
Is this going to help me fly free from this cage? You said it better, but
No,
but
that's how,
that was a great way to present it to your own self, because you've lived in this cage for a while.
Oh.
You've been doing this journey starting from 20 years ago surgery to here we are today. But now I feel like you're just getting it and you're doing it. And there was, you've had the temptations, you've had those,
yeah.
those obstacles. And I just remember that more so because you share with the group. So it's easier
Yeah.
to remember your story more so. But congratulations on just getting there to that epiphany of, is this going to help me fly free from this cage? That's beautiful.
I want out. I want out. So there's a big whole world to see and do and live in and be happy about. So
Yes.
for me, it's just a ticket to freedom. It's a ticket out.
It absolutely is. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday. There's a thing called learned helplessness, where they had these dogs in a cage and they would electrocute.
Yes.
Don't get mad at me. But then, and they would able to escape the pain and leave. But then they did the same experiment, but they strapped them in so that they couldn't leave. So the dog assumed he could never leave the cage. So it's
Right.
reminding me of your story. So they quit trying because they learned, oh, every time I try, I don't get to go. I fail. And it's the same thing with, you've been living in the cage and now you realize the cage door has always been open. You're finally figuring out what's going to help you fly out of that cage. And you're
Yes.
doing it.
Walk through that door, step out of it. Yeah.
You're doing it. Oh, that gave me such goosebumps. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure everybody, Denise even said, very inspiring today. Thank you. She loved it. Thank you for sharing. That was a beautiful, beautiful. Yes, thank you, Denise. And thank you for the share. Absolutely. All right. Anybody else going to add? Can't top that. I'm sorry. Good luck. I mean, I like all your wins, but that was pretty good. I don't want to poo-poo anybody, but yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, going once, going twice. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for your shares, your participation. Hopefully we have a different perspective shift. Know that what you believe is true is not always the forever truth. It's just your personal truth right now. And learning and discovering and finding new truths and new ways and new open, cages and doors. You step through them and what a great story. So with that, I guess I will say goodbye and thank you for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.